All right, we're alive, and that's fucking weird. We should switch something with that fucking video because every time that kind of take me by surprise. Like
Yeah,
there's one and no transition, and then we're live
yeah,
like this. It's kind of a bit too brutal for my fucking taste. All right,
yeah.
this is it. This is the quick and dirty, and my cat still that kind of do the shark thing. This is the quick and dirty, your news for the dummies in a hurry. I am
Yep.
Joel Flum, and I'm with Nicolas Pediktakis. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad. As you can clearly see, I sort of partook in the joke that Marvel attempted to rail on Jordan Peterson when they basically made him look into make him into like a new version of Red Skull,
Yeah.
Captain America's like arch nemesis. So like Dr. Peterson on his social media said, "Hey, like we're gonna have some fun with this." And we're going to raise money for a couple of reputable local charities in Toronto for every sale of everything, like the T-shirts, and I even have here like a sticker.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
it's a it's a really big sticker,
Fucking
and
awesome. It's for
I have
laptops, eh?
a huh.
It's for
Yeah,
laptops, eh? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
for laptops and for other things. So I don't know where specifically I'm going to put it. And I got a poster of this coming on. Like, I just find this hilarious. And now I feel like after this
Yeah.
podcast, I need to clean up my entire house because it says, to clean your room and to tell the truth all the time. So I'm
Uh,
definitely down for that. So
My
I'm
girlfriend
having a
and
good
I,
day so far.
cool. My girlfriend and I, we kind of clean our apartments because our landlord are selling the building. So
Mm,
they are visiting everywhere. So every time there's a visit, we're trying to as much as possible to fucking clean it because we don't
yeah.
want to fuck up with our chance of our landlords to sell because in Montreal the fucking housing is crazy. So
Yeah.
like if they can because they were kind of feeling bad for us to sell the building, and I'm like, don't feel bad
Mm,
for us, don't care about us. Honestly, if you've managed to find somebody that is willing to buy a fucking building in
hmm
Montreal in that economy, fucking take the money and run. don't
hmm
don't think about me, it's fine, we're gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah.
fine.
No,
uh
I get that.
I got my first shot of Pfizer this
Good.
weekend. Yeah.
How did you feel?
Nothing actually. I just had a sore arm for like yesterday, and that's it. Like, I couldn't raise my arm higher than that. No,
Yeah.
it's pretty much gone. I just start feeling something when I my arm get to there,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Well,
Like,
for me, yeah.
what it did for you?
Well, for me again, like I felt the sore arm like a bit after, but then the day after, like so I got my vaccine a couple of weeks ago on
Yeah.
Sunday in the afternoon. The day after, so the Monday, I almost completely shut down in terms of like just my body was just
Oh
slowing down.
shit.
Like my immune system was really like ramping up. So I
Yeah.
ended up having to take a sick day from work in order
Hmm.
to have like a good like hour and a half, 2 hour long nap, nice hot shower, plenty of coffee and tea to sort of like wake me up and just to watch stuff on TV that could keep my morale high because I really wasn't feeling it. But that's what sick
Oh,
days
really?
are for, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which one did you add?
Pfizer.
Pfizer. You had Pfizer too?
Yep.
Ah, yeah, the same thing, and I didn't do anything. I'm pretty sure she didn't shut me at this point. Like I didn't look because that's kind of the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you look, you kind of get tense the minute
Of
the fuck
course.
needle gets close. So I'm
Of
like,
course.
I just look at the door, looked away, and then when it was done, I was just putting my shirt on, and she's like, "Wait, I have to put the little thing on," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's true." And
Yeah. The
yeah,
bandage.
yeah, exactly. I totally forgot about it, and I was about to go without the fucking
Yeah.
bandage.
Yeah.
So to tell you as much that was as a little of a deal it was for me. So yeah, it sucks. Like my girlfriend has the same thing. Like she had a Moderna, but because we schedule as a friend day, and basically what happened for her, she was out for a day or two.
Well, for me, I was out for that whole day, and like even at one point, like my brain was like it was just slowing down a little bit because again,
Yeah.
the immune system like it was like turning up to 11 everywhere. But
In your
um,
case, not necessarily a bad thing.
it's not a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I had
sometimes you need your brain to slow down a little bit.
Well, it's not a bad thing for me because again, I used my sick day. I rested up a lot. Like it was because it was a Monday. Like I got to see Jofo live at
Yeah,
9 p.m. at that time, and then after that, like I just went to bed. I slept for like 9 hours that night, and I felt
nice.
100% the day after. So I'm just happy that I got the first shot, but um. I'm still going to go get my second shot at the beginning of September because I
You
want to be
should.
110% protected. And plus,
Yeah,
next year I have to go to the United States for two separate occasions to for my fraternity because we have like a regional leadership conference in New York
oh
City,
nice.
well, Jersey City, next to New York, and we have our big biannual convention in Houston, Texas, next July. So
Cool.
I want
So
to make sure,
you really need those fucking vaccines. Like there's nowhere
yeah.
around. If you don't have that vaccine, you might not be able to go to the United States.
Well, I know that the Biden administration has said that they're not going to push the issue of vaccine passports, but
Which is
certainly,
good.
which is good. But at the same time, you don't know what our provincial government or our federal government is going to do in
True.
terms of like returning Canadians. But for me, fortunately, I'm working from home, and for the time being, I see myself continuing to work from home. So,
Yeah, that's a Quebec thing. We always try to be more Catholic than the Pope. That's our thing. We
essentially,
always do
essentially,
that. Like we try to be greener than everybody else. So now we try to be like as much prudent as possible with the fucking COVID-19, even though there's
yeah,
no scientific proof for all our stuff. And I've found a pretty fucking funny meme. Like I think the worst measure of the whole thing wasn't necessarily the curfew. That was like, okay, if you move around a building, you have to wear a mask, which is fucking stupid. Like it's like there's COVID sections and no COVID sections. Like you sit down in the same
yeah,
fucking building, and all of a sudden, but I kind of understand why they did that. It's so we feel a bit safer to go to
yeah,
restaurants and bar because for fuck's sake, they have to be open at some point, right?
yeah,
Yeah, they couldn't stay closed, and if it's worse to open them, and there's nobody going because they're too scared of the fucking COVID. So they really needed to
yeah.
address the fear, even with bullshit measures like those ones. Like
No, no, of
makes no
course.
logical sense, but the fucking old people they feel safe with them. So what can I say, right?
No, no, I get this. I get the sense of shell shock, though. For me, again, this
Yeah.
summer, it's like I don't see myself doing anything particularly big aside from maybe seeing a couple of films in the cinema, like Black Widow, for example, which I'm
Oh,
really
nice,
looking forward to
cool.
seeing. Maybe going to the esports arena once that opens up because I want to see what it's all about. Because I know that again, the guys that are our friends at the Jofo podcast have some sort of association or like they work with the bar in one way
I
or
think
another.
Bruno works there, but I'm not sure.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
Bruno Leprod God, who's behind the screen. So I
Prod
want to,
God. Yeah,
I want to see that. But I mean, there's nothing happening in terms of like Comic Con, which I love to go to.
yeah.
The Ramstein concert has been
Still happening.
rescheduled for next year, though.
Ah,
So
okay.
it's like I still have my tickets, but at the same time, it's like since nothing really is happening of consequence during the summer, I may as well just work a lot more, take what overtime my work can give me, and just
Hey,
save
wait,
up
wait,
all
wait,
that
wait, wait,
money.
wait, 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 wait. You said nothing of consequence happening this summer. Sorry, but comedy's coming back to Montreal. It's me, Claudio, and Peter. We have dates for one of Sid's show.
Oh, that's good.
Basic,
No,
yeah, yeah,
that definitely I will be there. It's just to clarify, I
yeah,
meant like big events like Comic Con or just for laughs or
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
heavy
It's all
NTL,
canceled.
like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Little things like that, like going to Le Bordel to do that or comedy. That I will be there.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just nothing like there aren't any big events of that sort that I wanted to tend to.
All right.
So yeah,
Okay, so before we start the thing, because we have our subjects already set for this episode,
yeah,
there's a couple of quick announcements I want to make.
yeah.
First one is Saturday afternoon podcast is gonna be canned from now on. Yeah, exactly, because that was the plan when I started Quick and Dirty, and then for some reason I had a rush of motivation that I cannot explain myself, and I
Hmm.
decided I'll keep doing two fucking podcasts like this,
Hmm.
and then my level of motivation reach its normal level, which is next to zero.
Hmm.
So and also the shows are coming back again, so I need to get back to writing every days and
Yep.
get that routine back to work on my comedy muscle a little bit. So doing podcasts like this, thinking about okay having guests and bringing subjects
Yeah.
doesn't it takes a lot of time for me. So for me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna cancel the Saturday afternoon podcast like that. I just have to fucking get prepared for this one.
Yeah.
This one is gonna be from now on not from now on, but at least starting not next episode, but the episode after that's gonna be Saturday afternoon. That's gonna replace that one, and yeah, there are more announcements that's gonna come. For hey Jess, how are you doing?
Hey,
Uh,
Jess.
yeah, so basically, that's it. There's other announcements that's going to come. Basically, since comedy is starting and we're all open micers or comedians, so yeah, obviously it's gonna affect how the very first is doing. The Sunday night is not necessarily gonna be live because a lot of us do Sunday shows.
Yep.
Once in a while. So yeah, that kind of stuff. All right, so now that all of this is out of the way, thanks for letting us know, Jess. We're doing fine, by the way. We both have received our first dose, and none of us has a third arm, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, just before we proceed further, you have to tell us what time it is in your part of Australia, please. You know the drill.
Yes, the reporter of Perth, Australia. All right, so since we spent too much time on the slice of life at the beginning of the show, I think we're gonna skip. Yeah, exactly. I think we're gonna get to the first subject really quick. So just to link with the other episode we did last week, we talked a little bit about China trying to get into universities in Canada, and we have two examples now: York and Queens. There's a Chinese firm that is blacklisted by the Americans, by the US. Okay, 10:11 a.m. Thursday morning here. All right. Yeah, there you go. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
What I was saying. Oh yeah, China. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically what's happening is there's a firm that is blacklisted by the United States that is now doing partnership with Canadian universities, Yorks and Queens. And basically what's happening is it's an AI firm that has been working on tracking Uyghurs.
The Uyghur Muslims,
Yeah, so that's a debate that's gonna need to be done to get into, like, really, because the problem we're getting into is like, can we do partnership with China anymore? Can we keep doing business with China like it's in another country? Hey, Obsidian, how are you doing, sir?
Hey there.
So I ask you the question: do you think we should keep doing business with China like any other countries?
No, China is a unique beast on a wide variety of fronts in terms of just how it treats its own citizens in such an authoritarian manner. Given that China restricts access to the open internet via their virtual Great Wall of China, which necessitates a lot of Chinese who truly want to feel more free to access the open internet, to use VPNs and other ways to
reciprocity. Like they're cool with us taking their shit, but they don't want to buy our shit, basically.
Yeah,
so they want us to use their website, but they don't want their citizen to use our website. So it's fucking this.
Yeah,
right off the bat, there's some imbalance there.
Yeah, and as well, like, again, you greatly mentioned the issue of the intellectual property theft, which is a huge issue that we've seen across the world. The way that they've bought up like natural resource assets and a whole host of things around the world, not just here in Canada with like our tar sands oil in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but they're making a lot of inroads as well in Africa in terms of how they're selectively funding infrastructure projects like trains and roads and all that to gain further access to the natural resources that are still very plentiful within the African continent. So that's very worrying. But of course, given what is going on with that specific, partially with that state entity called iFly Tech in the People's Republic of China, that AI recognition and voice and speech recognition, some of that stuff, folks, is being used to track and facilitate the genocide of the Uyghur Muslim population in Western China, which is like, come the fuck on.
But like, of course it's gonna be used for that. Like, if there's a government or any structures that is nefarious enough, they can use it for it. Like the technology you're referring to, it's called natural processing language, or language processing. And the idea is to be able, with codes and programming, to interpret a text or to interpret the content of what's going on. So basically, they can just send their bots on their internet and figure out who's talking shit about the government and then catch them.
Yeah. So in the article that we're referencing from the Globe and Mail,
Yes.
the cooperation between iFly Tech and York University, they're doing a lot of research in terms of machine learning, natural
Yes.
language processing, and machine learning theory. So a lot of
Yes.
things in terms of artificial intelligence, like here in Montreal, we're becoming a growing hub on the issue of artificial intelligence in terms of its creation, implementation, maintenance, and even research into expanding what AI can do in helping us out in terms of automating more and more systems that companies are using. So, like password resets, account recovery, uploads and downloads, and other stuff like that. So, the fact again that two other universities like Queen and York University in Ontario have been caught having these association agreements, like we really need to say enough is enough.
Yeah.
China is a unique beast. Like another thing that has to be said is that often at times when you have these cooperation agreements with the Chinese government or the regime, they often allow like their citizens or people who under their direct supervision to immigrate to Canada so
To be
that they
used as
can work
spies.
in to be used as pawns effectively to
Yeah.
be at the actual universities themselves in person. And often at times it is reported that these
Yeah.
people who are there, the students and any like academics or other individuals that are there for administrative consulting and all that, are spying on like
Like
Canadian
on the
born
Chinese
Chinese
government
people.
behalf. Yeah.
Yeah, like spying on like Canadian born Chinese people
Yeah.
who may be
Just a
critical of the
basic
Chinese
bachelor
regime.
degree, just a basic bachelor degree students. Like one
Yeah,
of the reasons why you pay tuition fees when you start university is you get access to a database with a lot of
yeah,
updated scientific articles. So
yeah,
basically, you can just go there and like download every fucking articles in PDF, put it on a fucking thumb drive, or just send it over to your contact in China, right? So
yeah.
I'm not saying we're not saying like to don't trust any Chinese ever, like look at
No,
them
of
weird,
course,
because there's Taiwanese and people from Hong Kong and a lot of Chinese
Macau and all
that
that.
comes. Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of Chinese that comes here. They're like fucking going away from that government, right?
Yeah,
One of my best friend in Concordia is a Chinese guy, and basically he was always
yeah,
talking shit about his government.
yeah,
So there's most of them are cool, but the problem is you have a tiny minority of them that
yeah,
might be problematic. Like if they just being bachelor degree students, all right, they have
yeah.
access to a lot of fucking information that can be like detrimental to national security or might be used in China for all the wrong reasons. So
Yeah,
that's
intellectual
something really
property
important
theft
to
and all
think
that.
about.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
intellectual property theft is also a
Yes.
huge issue that we need to address with them.
All right.
Again, they're just a unique beast on that front. We
Exactly.
need
That's
we need
not
to
that. It's not the United States. They're not our friends. All right. We need to understand that they're not there to play fair with everybody else.
yeah,
Yeah, we
no,
just need to
exactly.
get that through our head. So I
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt, but it's because we really need to get now into the other subject you wanted to bring.
yeah.
As of lately, what happened is in Kamloops, where what the
Well,
oh, there we go. Kamloops Indian Residential School in British Columbia. They found a mass grave of 215 children.
yeah,
So yeah, there you go. So if you want to do a mise en context or something like that,
no, of
go
course.
free, man.
So first, just to say this, when I heard the news in terms of just the size and scale
Yeah,
of the mass grave at that former residential school, it broke my heart to see that and to hear that. Like I knew that the residential schools, like the 60 scoop and other things that have occurred, like the Oka crisis that
yeah,
occurred like decades ago here in Quebec, we knew that things were not at all great, if not absolutely horrible for our friends in the Indigenous community, not just locally here in like Ganawage or Kanesatake, but across
yeah,
Canada. But to see
yeah.
just
We
the
never
scale,
doubted it's gonna be like 215 corpse finding a fucking mass grave, though.
yeah, that
That's fucking bad.
it escalates the scale to a point where you
Yeah,
cannot help but feel like what the actual fuck happened back in the
yeah.
day.
And what is happening?
like
because there's
also
a
to
lot of
say
fucking
this,
native woman that's fucking disappearing
yeah,
right now.
the missing and murdered Indigenous women and
Yeah,
girls is another
that
thing. Like
murder we don't know,
thousands,
but missing for sure. Yeah,
like missing and like thousands of missing and murdered
yeah,
Indigenous women and girls missed, like not accounted for by local
yep,
or provincial or even federal law enforcement, like the RCMP. Like there's other systemic issues that need to be dealt with in terms of like access to clean water and
yeah,
infrastructure. Like we're 2021, folks, and many Indigenous folks across the country on their reserves are living in objectively third world conditions, which is just horrible because we know that we are capable of doing a lot better
yeah,
here in Canada. Um, to like obviously there are a lot of calls like right now in terms of like the commemoration and like remembering and sort of paying homage. We're seeing a lot of like schools across Canada and like the very buildings that were used at one point. We're seeing a lot of people putting like little shoes, like 215 pairs of shoes to remember the kids that died, no doubt from physical and or potentially sexual abuse, emotional trauma, the fact that they were just outright taken away by their parents by force
yeah,
by the federal government at the time. And this has to be stressed, the full cooperation and collaboration of the Roman Catholic Church,
yeah.
Anglicans, Protestant churches, because depending on where you are in Canada,
Even the
you're
federal
either
government, like the federal government, let it go for so long. They didn't ask any questions. They were fine as long as nothing bad really splashed into the public. So they are they
like
are as they are as responsible as the fucking religious
yeah,
people.
like the fact that we still have, to my knowledge, in the federal law books, the Indian Act,
Yeah,
which was passed decades ago. I think in the 60s when Pierre Elliott Trudeau, I think, was the justice minister before he became prime minister in
yeah.
1968. Like the fact that we still have that on the law books is considerably problematic. So
It's
you have,
fucking retarded. Like honestly, and that remind me when I was in Concordia, one of my friend may work on the Indian law, and he called it the Indian law, and his fucking teacher told, no, you shouldn't call them Indians. And it's like, hey, retard. That's all the fucking laws called. That's not
yeah,
my fault if our fucking laws worded by
yeah,
some 19th centuries white supremacists.
I know.
That's not my fucking
It's
problem. And also, don't forget, like the main feature of Canadian nationalism back then in the 19th centuries, where the maltreatance was going on, and a little after the 19th century, was because we're purely British compared to the United States, that had a lot of immigrants. We're making fun back then of the United States for having a lot of immigrants. So that's another thing we
yeah,
need to think about when we think about Canadian history, right?
yeah. Like the last residential school, to my knowledge, that was still in full operation shut down in 1996
Yeah.
when Jean Chrétien was the prime minister, the liberal prime minister who was there from 93 till 2003 when he was outed by Paul Martin and his folks in the Liberal Party.
He wasn't. He
Like
wasn't out there though. He retired. No.
he retired, but he was sort of pushed out regardless
Ah, yeah.
by the growing support within the Liberal Party under Paul Martin, then
Oh,
finance
really?
minister. But that
Okay.
besides the point. Besides the
Yeah, yeah.
point.
Sorry.
So to say this, and let me just do a direct appeal here to any, because like I myself have a few friends who are either full or partially Indigenous. I understand that this is a uniquely, and I just need to say this off to get this off my chest, Joey. So just give me a moment here.
Sure.
To any friends of mine, any of my Indigenous friends, my DMs are open. If you want to like call me or message me on Facebook or Instagram, or if you want to just call my phone number, please let me know because I know that this is a particularly traumatic moment for you. So please let me know if there's anything I could do strictly on a personal level. If you want to rant or if you want to like get anything that's off your chest as well. To anyone who's in the comments or if ever you watch this video, if you have any like books or stuff that sort of talk about this in an academic or even in a personal context, let us know in the comments because that would certainly, because I want to learn.
Yeah.
I will graciously and sincerely and honestly admit that I am not an expert at this, though I did studies some aspects of this at Concordia, like Joey, in terms of like Canadian public administration, Canadian federalism, and Canadian law and all that. But if there's anything that you can advise in terms of books, please let us know or message me on Instagram, Captain Yolo562, or like my just Nicholas Bivatakis on Facebook. Like, let us know, because this is certainly something that needs to be dealt with.
Hmm.
Like Justin Trudeau needs to get off his high horse. I know that he
And
asked
actually
already,
do
but he needs
something
to
fucking meaningful.
like tell the Pope enough is enough. Offer an official apology,
Yeah.
give some financial reparations, open up full access, no hesitation to your archives, because a lot of the records which could highlight the sheer scale and say, okay, these people were here, these people were here, these people were here, are in the Vatican archives
Yeah.
and the archives of other religious institutions. So they need to start fessing up. Like, well, unfortunately, they never, to my knowledge, fessed up on the issue of the child abuse within the Catholic Church, so they have that to atone for, let alone
Yeah.
now this opening up a wound that is still considered fresh, because there's still a lot of issues that need to be dealt with on that front. So
Can you imagine? It's your first day over there, and then there's like a bunch of fucking priests that has mistreated the kids to a point that he died, and then
yeah,
everybody's freaking. The new guy's freaking out, and everybody seems like a bit jaded, and they're like, "Yeah, put them with the others." The others? What the fuck you're doing to these fuckers?
I know,
Jesus
I know,
Christ! No,
I
but
know.
for real, it's 250 people. It's a lot of fucking people.
250.
Like, what? You
I know.
dig them up to bury another one, and you see a pile of them, and you don't ask any questions. You're like, oh, yeah, okay.
No.
Another day at work.
They need to, like, they honestly need to check every single building that was used as a residential school. They need to do a full analysis of the grounds. Like, that has to happen now.
I think they were searching for 51, and then they got a surprise of 215. Like, nobody could imagine something like that in Canada. Not in 100 fucking years.
Like, folks, to understand the scale of how people reacted, like, we have a lot of foreign publications like CNN, BBC, The Guardian, and other papers around the world who are reporting on this. Like, this really, it really just puts a massive dark stain that is going to take a long time to heal and to resolve. So we need to be sent. We need to listen to what our Indigenous friends are saying at this point.
Yeah.
We need to understand what their concerns are. Of course, when we're addressing certain issues like building, like bettering their infrastructure, like water, because again, for me, like the water in this mug right here that I'm drinking from, it's clean. For them,
Hey,
it's not typically. Hey, Raul, hope you're doing well, dude. So when we're doing that, of course, we need to have some oversight, because oversight and accountability is necessary, but we still need to listen to them regardless. So this is certainly something that I'm still feeling personally. Like, how did it go to this point? Like, what the fuck happened? Pardon my language, but like,
dude,
enough
I've
is
dropped
enough.
so many F bombs since the beginning of the podcast, and you're the one apologizing for the one you're using.
I'd like to be respectful when possible, especially when we're dealing with such a sensitive and very, very like loaded issue. So I'm just trying to be respectful and cognizant of that.
No, that's crazy. Like, it's kind of sad and pathetic that in Canada we need like everybody in the world to check our fucking fault to be able to try to actually in a meaningful way try to figure out something about it. Because we knew for a long time that the indigenous situation in Canada is it's no fucking picnic. We know that.
Yeah,
it's not like we don't know. We fucking know. We didn't do anything.
This just highlights the scale of which things have gotten so bad.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember that they were Conrad Black that was arguing it wasn't no genocide. It was more like a cultural cleansing, meaning that we wanted to make them white Canadian as possible with the Canadian religion and everything. But now the argument for genocide is getting a bit stronger because like in which context are you going to fucking have a mass grave? How little of a fuck you have to give about these people that you would just think about like burying them in a mass grave like fucking cattle.
I know.
It's nuts. It's fucking crazy.
I know, man.
Fucking crazy. And usually when we look at it at event like in Germany and stuff like that, that's damn. That's damn. That's not us. Well, turns out that today it's us. It's fucking us. We can't all be like that, by the way. Dehumanizing fucking people and do atrocious shit for no good reason than them being fucking different. We can all fucking do that. Like when we
I
call
know.
these, we have to be really worried because when we call these fucking people monster, you have to realize that's not good. We have to remember those fucking people are humans and we are too. So we can. There's a part of us in a part of them in us. Like how bad can we get to the point we just like don't give a shit and we do that kind of stuff? It's fucking crazy. It's beyond me.
Well, I guess one piece of, I would say, good news, though I don't even know anymore. Like I am seeing a more or less unanimous condemnation of this issue from all sides of the political spectrum here in Canada. Like we're even seeing the Conservative Party, which historically, like especially when Harper had his majority government from 2011 to 2015,
Yeah.
they were not the most like receptive government in terms of indigenous issues, but now we're seeing a lot of members of parliament from the Conservative Party now saying something has to be done, and like the fact that the scale of which we've seen it happen in Kamloops, like I think now we're going to see some meaningful action on this issue. So I remain hopeful in a way that this has sort of like opened Pandora's box on this issue, to use that expression.
I would use Pandora's box because there's a specific connotation to this one. More like we had like you had a big dirty Tupperware in your fucking refrigerator, right? And it was
Mhm.
rolled. You didn't want it to open it, but at some point you have to open it to throw it away, right? That's
Yeah.
basically what's happening. We have opened the Tupperware. We know how fucking rodent the situation is now. There's you cannot deny it. Like there's no denying it.
No,
You
no, of
cannot like be
course.
like, oh, that never happened, or oh, it's exaggerated. Mass grave of 250 fucking kids.
I know.
I can't just
Anyways,
brush it off like shit happens anymore. It's fucking crazy, man.
I know. I just hope that with this, we can finally get rid of the Indian Act. We can start, treating Indigenous people across Canada as equals instead of as lesser, given certain legal and systemic issues that need to be
Yeah.
resolved. I
We
like,
need to treat them as adults. Like basically, Quebec is even its own thing. It's a province, right?
yeah,
But even us, we have oversight from the federal government. If we use the money they send us for all the dumb reasons, they're going to yell at us. We need to have that too for the native. Because the thing with the native is we just piss money on them and think the problem would just go away by pissing fucking millions in meaningless fucking ministries and hoping that something meaningful is gonna be done without even going there and check how they're using that fucking money.
no, there needs to be no. I get that. No, I get that. It's just the notion, like this is going to be like to say, like I get where you're saying, and believe me, I'm all for accountability and transparency on that. But the second, like this could precipitate another Oka crisis style situation, and let me explain my
No, but if you want to be treated, you want us to treat you like adults. You need accountability. You cannot.
I
We
know.
cannot just like the problem we have been facing for a while with the native issues is we just have thrown money at them and then oh, I'm a good guy. I just threw money at them. Yeah, and do you know what your money did? Don't know, don't care. I just threw money at them, so I'm a good guy.
I know. I'm just
There's no way around it.
no,
Well,
no, no,
we need that.
no. I know. I'm.
Like the Catholic Church is a fucking independent body, right?
Yeah,
And even them are accountable to our fucking national law. They cannot just go around and rape kids. They have to face justice.
that's for sure.
Yeah. So that same logics apply. Like it's not them the problem. It's their fucking leader that kind of used them being isolated and like use them as pawn, and they take the money for themselves, and they never do anything for their fucking community. Those fucking dirtbags, man. Like, honestly, being a native in Canada, it sucks because you have on one side the fucking white that, for one part, doesn't give a shit, or just think like throwing money at them is gonna solve them, magically make the fucking
I
problem
know.
disappear. On the other side, you're basically a native. You don't know too much what's going on, like with the rest of Canada, whatever. Like you're in your
Yeah,
little community, it's really close, and you have to trust your fucking leader, but your leader is fucking you over, and you don't know any better. So yeah,
I know. Look, folks. What I think. Agree to disagree. Is in the chat. Thank you, Raul. Look, folks. This is certainly something that is very complex.
oh yeah, it is.
This is why, again, like I made that public appeal to say, hey, if anyone has any books or any like substantive articles that deal with this issue specifically, please let me and please let Joey know, because we want to have a better understanding. We're just basing our opinions on what we've read so far,
Yeah.
as well as using logic and our past training in political science and history at Concordia University. So please bear in mind with us on that front, folks. So I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
so let's wrap it up. So,
yeah,
for people that have been watching, 4 of you, by the way, don't forget to share and subscribe so we can grow that
exactly.
little motherfucker. And basically, that's it, man. Next week, it's still going to be a Wednesday, but a
Yeah.
week after is going to be a Saturday afternoon. The Saturday afternoon podcast this weekend is not happening. It's canceled. It's officially canned. But stay tuned, because the other Dirty 4 Hours, they own project, and you're gonna have all the links in the description. So stay tuned for that. And
Mhm.
on this, thank you, fuck you, bye.